Hello, fellow collectors. Over the past year or so, we've seen some absolutely beautiful Mercedes releases from a number of different brands. Among the favorites for myself is this Mercedes 190e, which is from Mini GT. They've been putting out a number of different versions of this car, with the most common being this Berlin 2000 racing livery. And they've put out at this point 6 different versions with this similar livery on it. This video isn't about Mini GT. We're actually here to look at all these other cars that I haven't yet opened. But I did want to start off with showing off these quickly showing these beautiful models from Mini GT. So we have some other racing liveries, and we have a camel livery, and then the street version of the vehicle. This is a stunning release to me. It's definitely one of my favorite Mini GT releases. But as I mentioned, we're not really here to talk about Mini GT. We have a number of other things here, from brands such as Sparky, Schuco, Hot Wheels, of course, and Tarmac Works. And so I wanted to dig into these and get them out of the package so that I can get them into my collection and show them off in the process. So let's get started. First up, let's take a look at this Schuco. This is a Mercedes-Benz 300 SL. It's kind of a purplish color, and Schuco is a German diecast brand. They don't put out a huge number of models, but the ones that they do put out are quite nice. And so let's get this one out of the package and get a closer look at it. It seems as if this year there's been a very large number of Mercedes releases. Maybe this is just because I'm relatively new to collecting, but I know that I suddenly ended up with this pile. I mean, I have quite a few that I needed to get unboxed, and I don't know that I've been intentionally targeting Mercedes. I've just been buying them as I've come across them. And this one is a very nice model. Has some nice chrome details around the front, inserted headlights, headlight details, red interior, is a different color for the steering wheel, and nice chrome details on the back, chrome wheels. Absolutely beautiful. And a quick comparison here to the similar Hot Wheels version that also came out earlier this year. This is the mainline release of this. They also put out a premium version of this car in the Team Transport series. But the mainline is almost as good in reality. I mean, it doesn't have any rear tampos, but obviously this Schuco is a much nicer model. But it's always interesting to compare to Hot Wheels, because Hot Wheels and Matchbox tend to represent fantastic values, and I always like to show them off. All right, so that's the Schuco. So let's take a look at this monstrosity, because I really want to get this out of the package, because this packaging is enormous. And everybody who reviews these and opens these always complains about the package. I'm not going to complain about it again, other than to say I'm not really, actually I'm not a fan of these at all. But let's get rid of this packaging. I don't buy cars to keep them in the package. I buy them to actually look at them. And these are some very cool models. So first up, we have the Hot Wheels version of the 190e, similar to the Mini GT that we were showing earlier. So we can do a quick comparison side by side with this Mini GT. The Hot Wheels is obviously quite a bit larger. Although the wheelbase doesn't look, actually, you know what? I have to be careful with this Mini GT because there's a little tiny Mercedes logo there. It's very easy to break off. So the Hot Wheels is actually very nice, and it's not, I thought it was a lot larger, but it isn't as, it looks a little bit wide. Okay, anyway, let's not dwell on that. Let's get back to just looking at the Hot Wheels. So, painted details. I'm sure everybody's probably seen this model. You know, these two packs, these are a Target exclusive item in the United States. They've been very popular and seem to be hitting stores with a fairly good volume. So I'm sure if you're in the U.S. and you want to pick these up, you'll probably be able to find them if you haven't already. I don't know about international distribution of these. Hopefully these will get some amount of international distribution. And if you've seen them in your stores anywhere, please let me know. I would like to know what the international situation is for these. And then the other car in this pack is I forget the model number on this one. This 72 280 SEL 4.5. And this is a very cool car. We have another version of it right here in the Modern Classics release, which came out first. But this one is a nice metallic gray, 10-spoke wheels. Front end looks good. You know, it's got the typical Hot Wheels chrome. It could use some black wash, which would really improve the look of that grille. But overall, it's a very nice model. And it's got a license plate. Let's see if, I'm sure many people have shown what this license plate said. AGW 108. Okay. I should know what this means. Somebody can tell me. I'm sure it means something. Hot Wheels doesn't usually put a license plate on their car that doesn't mean anything. That may be the Mercedes internal identifier for the vehicle or something along those lines. I don't know. If you know what it means, please let me know in the comments. So, very cool. And we have the Modern Classics version from the set with these other cars. This may have come out late last year. I have all of these except for this Civic. I have never seen that car. For some reason, the Civics that they put out are very difficult to get. But this one is a very cool version. And it's interesting when you get this one, when you look at this one in the package, it looks black. And I know everybody who's opened this has said the same thing. And I think this actually shows it on camera fairly well, that this is not black. This is actually a very, very interesting paint color. And I really didn't realize just how nice this paint color is. It's really cool. Hopefully you can see this. There's a little focus there that helps. It's just absolutely beautiful. I mean, I love premium diecast, you know, from other brands. I love Mini GT and Tarmac Works and all these other brands, but there's still Hot Wheels, when they want to do a good job on a car, they absolutely can. And this one is just beautiful. So I was prepared to say that I actually like this gray one better, but no, this Modern Classics version is the winner for me. That paint, you got to get it out of the package. If you have this and you're not opening it, you're making a mistake. Get it out of the package because you're really not able to appreciate it otherwise. Let's see if we can see this license plate on this one. Now that one just says 280 SEL. But yeah, beautiful. All right, so we have one more. Focus on something. There we go. All right, one more Hot Wheels. And this is the 300 SEL 6.8 AMG. This car is otherwise known as the Red Pig. This was the first car from the AMG tuning arm of Mercedes. At the time, I don't think they were owned by Mercedes, but I could be wrong about that. But they built this car to race at the 24 Hours of Spa, and basically to prove that they could build a race car out of a big giant sedan. And they were quite successful in doing that. The car ended up finishing second in that race, and only came in second because it guzzled so much fuel that they had to make more pit stops than all the other cars that they were competing against. But it overall was a great showing. Put AMG on the map, and established that even though these cars are big and heavy, that doesn't mean that they're slow. This is a beautiful model too. I've had this one sitting around for probably 2 months waiting to get it out of the package. So I'm very excited to finally be able to do that, and to have such a nice queue of Mercedes to go along with it. So nice red color, roll cage in there. Got the lights on the front. Very important when you have an endurance race and you need to race at night, because the Spa track is not a well-lit track, especially back in the 70s when this car originally raced. So very cool. This is a great lineup of Hot Wheels. Like I said, I love the premium brands, but I still can't shake my love of Hot Wheels. All right, so let's look at something quite a bit different. This is a Mercedes Gt3 AMG, and this car raced at the 24 Hours of the Nürburgring. So another endurance race on another track that has no lights, and a track that is one of the most challenging tracks in the world. Absolutely fantastic track. I love to drive on the Nürburgring in a racing simulator, and has so many corners and just such a fantastic flow that once you learn the track and can take it at speed, it's just an absolute blast to drive. So this is a Sparky. I guess I threw the packaging down, but their packaging's not really very interesting. It doesn't say anything. It's completely generic, other than it does have the licensing on it. But otherwise, there's nothing on it. So this just has a nice SAP livery. It looks like this one might roll. So Sparkies are a little bit hit and miss on whether they will roll or not. It kind of sort of rolls, not really, but it doesn't really matter. These are obviously primarily intended for display. So painted details on the back, but you do get inserted headlights, and they're kind of a fog light color, which is realistic for these cars. If you ever see them running at night, they have these yellow headlights that are pretty ugly in my opinion, but that's what they have. So Sparky does a pretty good job. So there is some texture in here. It's not just a flat tampo. And you have a nice vent, texture in the vent. These are just kind of printed on here. But nice wheels. Overall, fantastic model. It's a very cool Mercedes. It's a lot of fun to drive this car in a simulator. Okay, let's see. Next up, let's look at these Tarmac Works. So I have 4 different versions of the car, so we're not going to look at all of them in any detail. but we will, take a fairly close look at one, and then just look at the variations on the others. So this one is the DTM safety car, and this is Tarmac Works Global 64. So the DTM Coupe Black Series, or AMG Coupe, let me start again. C63 AMG Coupe Black Series DTM safety car. Tarmac Works Global 64 line, and if we look here, you can see the information about this particular model. So these numbers are T64G is Tarmac Works 64 Global. The 009 is the casting number, and then the SC is the iteration, so SC means safety car. And so we'll see the same casting number on all of these, and the final variation in that will change on each car. And the brief comment about the Tarmac Works packaging, I've talked about this in other videos. It's a clamshell design, so you can pull the car out. It comes, in this plastic thing, plastic holder with a box, and the plastic holder and the box do not work together. You cannot put this in the box. The box says nothing about the car. The box is complete garbage, and this packaging I think is absolutely terrible, but and kind of an idiotic design. Sorry, Tarmac. I love your cars, but your packaging designs are ridiculous. But so safety car version of this has the added light bar on the top, and so a Global 64 from Tarmac Works is very similar to a Mini GT. It's of a very similar quality. It feels a lot like a Mini GT. It's a metal body, metal base. The tires will spin. They do roll. Not that you really needed to see that roll, but come on, autofocus. There we go. But you get similar to a Mini GT. There's texturing here. You get painted details for a lot of these things. The wing is an added piece. For some reason on this model, it tends to have a curve to it. I don't know if that's correct, because here's another version that I have, this yellow one, and the wing is the same. So maybe that's correct. Maybe it's just the manufacturing flaw in these. I'm not exactly sure. But you have mirrored or little shiny piece in the mirrors. Reflective. It's actually reflective. So overall, it's a nice model. This is not my favorite of these. I'm pretty sure that this one right here is going to be my favorite once I get it out of the package. But it's cool just the same. So next up we have this one. This is the Gumball 3000 version. So it's a racing livery, and again this. So it's the 009-GB because it's Gumball 2000. And I apologize that I did not cut the tape on these before starting this video. Really should have done that. So nice white, blue wheels, lots of blue on this one, blue mirrors. And let's see if we can get a decent look at this livery. We have Sport has the power to change the world. And I believe that is Nelson Mandela. Is that who that quote is from? Looks like it could be. Yeah. So, very cool. The one thing I have noticed about Tarmac Works Global 64s is that the paint on some of them seems to be a little bit too glossy. It doesn't quite look realistic for the scale. It has too much shine to it. Like if you compare these to this Mini GT, the paint it's glossy, but it's not. It looks right for the scale, whereas this is a little bit too shiny. It's maybe hard to see on the camera, and it's not on all of them. Some of them look good, some of them don't. I particularly noticed it on the Ford Mustang GT350R, I think is the version that they put out. It was very pronounced on that car. So this is going to be very similar to the last one that we looked at. So I'll set these up here. Oops. And we'll do this one next. I'm saving the one I think will be the best for last. And this one is a police livery. This police livery is from a video game. It is not a real police livery. I think it's from, what is this from? I'm going to fail. Grand Theft Auto, maybe? Yeah, I think that's it, but I'm sure somebody else can tell me if I'm spacing on what this is from. It still looks cool. It makes a good police car. I wish it had a real livery on it, rather than a video game livery. But it's, yeah, actually this one I like a lot better getting it out of the package. I wasn't too sure about it at first. I almost didn't even order it. This light bar is kind of weird. It's just like a silver bar. But yeah, this is cool. I like this one a lot more than I thought I would. It's very nice. The license plate just says police. So, very nice. All right, the last one, and the one I'm pretty sure is going to be the best. So here we get red with a black roof with a red stripe and then a black stripe on the hood, which gives it a little bit more character. And this is very nice. It is, let's see if we can kind of get a better view of the paint. It seems to be, it is pretty much just red. There's no real metal flake or anything in the paint. It's just a red, kind of almost an orangish red. And I'm actually, this is not my favorite version of the car. Now that I've got it out of the package, I would have liked it better if it had more of a metallic color to it. My favorite version is going to remain this one, this yellow, the first one that I added to my collection. Even though this one kind of has a little flaw in the headlights, I like this one the best. Although this one's pretty cool too. But I had hoped for a little bit more interest in the paint. I hadn't really looked at it very close, even in the packaging, since I was planning to take it out. says AMG. All right. Okay, so that's the Tarmac Works Global 64 C63 AMGs. My camera really does not like to focus today. I guess that's kind of a common trend for some reason. So the last thing that I was going to do in this video was I was going to take another look at these. I had shown these in my weekly haul video and had pulled them out of the package. So this is from Tarmac Works. This is another Mercedes 190E. But I wanted to put it side by side with the Mini GT version of the car to see how it compares. The Mini GT version is quite good for the price, especially. Obviously, the liveries are going to be completely different on these, and the Tarmac Works clearly has more details. You know, you have the antennas here on the roof, and there's brake calipers or brake discs, yeah, and calipers in there. And then the interior will have more detail. Windshield wiper. Well, I guess both do have the windshield wiper in the middle there. I mean, overall, Mini GT does a fantastic job. The headlights do look a little bit better on the Tarmac Works as well, but I think it's going to be a challenge to. This thing does not want to focus. The hood ornament, I think, looks a little bit better on the Mini GT in reality. Neither of them have anything in the mirrors, no reflective element in the mirrors. Although, oh, there's something in there on the Tarmac Works. What is in there? I guess that's just supposed to be the reflector. It doesn't look right, but all right. Well, we'll go with that. But yeah, this car is from a couple years later. This was 91, 92 era. This one was 94 or 95 era, I believe. 95. So they are not, although it doesn't seem to have changed all that much. And I still love the Mini GT. And then the other one we have is also a 190E. This one is from Inno64, and this absolutely fantastic Boss Sonax livery, which I suspect Mini GT will eventually put out a version of this, because they seem to be doing all of the most well-known liveries that the 190E was put out in, or that it raced in. So these are of a more similar generation. This is a 92, yeah, 1992. So they have the same wheels. And again, the Inno has the antennas on the roof, which the Mini GT does not have. Which is good, because if the Mini GT had those antennas, you know, you're already playing with fire by having this hood ornament. So handling the Mini GT would not be a good thing with those antennas on it. And the Inno is going to stay on the base because of those antennas, which I don't like. I don't really like to leave cars on these bases. I would much prefer to get them off, because you can't really look at them properly otherwise. But those antennas are going to be very easy to break off. So again, the headlights on the Inno do look better. The hood ornament is probably about the same. The grill's good on both. The Inno has the tow hook, which the the Mini GT, this tow hook right here, which is another thing that would be very easy to break off. And then they have one in the back as well. So you definitely get some more details, but it's not, I mean, as far as capturing the essence of the car, I think the Mini GT gets it. You know, it doesn't have these little fine detail pieces on it, but you know, this is still an absolutely beautiful model, and especially the the Berlin 2000 version, which is fantastic with all the little signatures on it. So if we can get this to actually focus again, you have the signatures on it. So that at the time this Berlin 2000 livery was created, Berlin was trying to win the 2000 Olympics. So this car raced in 1991, and at the time they were bidding to get the Berlin 2000 Olympics. So this was part of their marketing campaign to say that Berlin should win the Olympics. They ultimately did not. The Olympics were held in Australia, but I believe the signatures on this car represent basically people signing on to say that they wanted the Berlin or the Olympics in Berlin in the year 2000, which is what this livery represents. And Mini GT has put out 6 different versions of this car where the livery is almost identical. There are small variations in each of the cars, but the core livery is pretty much the same on all of them. But it's still cool. So I guess we end with the car that I started with, and hopefully if you've made it this far, you enjoyed this video. So thank you, and I will talk to you next time.